Hey guys, we're at 5 weeks now, so I wanted to go over a few things that I've kind of been dealing with over the past week. First of all, I almost caved. I came really close to caving because I was sitting there going, I want shrimp. I miss shrimp. I want shrimp. I have not craved steak or chicken or anything like that, and I was having some food anxiety because I'm, limited. This is definitely something that I've am trying to get used to. So my husband and I went to Asheville just for a night, and we went out to dinner, and whenever we would go, we had to stop for lunch, and I had to just pick something from somewhere. It's gotten to the point where he'll say, well, you're the one with special dietary stuff, so where do you want to go? And I've just gotten to the point where I'll find something. I will find something that I can eat. It doesn't have to be 100% healthy. It could be French fries and a side salad, which I'm perfectly happy with. But we went out to dinner, and it was just this cute little restaurant in downtown Asheville. It was right on the corner, so it was like a great place. We sat outside. I got a glass of wine, which I haven't had in a month? I don't know, something like that. I haven't drank in a while. And so I got a glass of Malbec because they had it, and that's one of my favorites. So I drank that glass of wine, and I got the buzz and everything, and they had a veggie burger on their menu. I got so excited. So I got a veggie burger with no bun and a side of French fries. Everything was delicious, just absolutely delicious. We walked downtown, we sat at the park, we're watching people go by, and we're sitting there, and my husband looks over and goes, oh, there's a Ben & Jerry's. I was like, ooh, I know Ben & Jerry's has vegan ice cream that's dairy-free. So we went over there, got some ice cream. I'm not used to eating in the evenings. I'm normally done with dinner by 6:30, and I don't eat after that. My body has gotten used to that. So when we got ice cream, even though it was vegan, it, very calorically dense, should we say, with ice cream. I even got a kid's cup, but still, I'm not used to eating a whole lot. My stomach has gotten to the point where I can't overeat anymore because I literally feel sick. If I eat too much, it's not oh, I'm stuffed. It's, oh, I feel nauseous. I feel sick. And one of the things that makes me think about this is my son. He's 7. He's a little guy. He eats, small meals throughout the day, and when he eats too much, he gets sick. He literally will throw up if he has eaten too much because his little belly cannot handle it. He's not used to handling that, and that's what his body does. Somewhere along the lines, we lose that as adults, especially since our stomach is a muscle and it stretches and shrinks, and mine has apparently shrank since I've been eating smaller meals and healthier meals. So now I literally feel sick if I eat too much. Anyway, back to this glass of wine. I had this glass of wine, I sipped on it. For the first time in my life, I'm actually sipping cocktails now instead of it's an improvement, especially since college. But 3 hours later, I still had a buzz from the wine. And when I laid down to go to bed that night, I started having heart palpitations. It was kind of like a flutter. My oldest brother and I have gone through this in our lives on and off. I don't, we've both noticed that alcohol and sugar together tend to be a little bit of a trigger. So I think that if I had either had the ice cream and not had the wine, or had the wine and not had the ice cream, then maybe it would have been better. But that's something that I'm curious to, see how that plays out. I'm gonna experiment in the future, especially since I'm going on vacation in a couple weeks. I can't not have any alcohol whatsoever on vacation, right? But with vacation coming up, I think my biggest anxiety there is not eating seafood. And like I said, I don't miss steak or chicken. It's shrimp that keeps floating around in my head, ooh, shrimp. So one of the things that I've thought about is whenever I'm done with this 12-week challenge is basically being 95% vegan, still having meat on occasion. And I don't want the food anxiety of freaking out just because I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I just wanna be able to find something to eat no matter where I go. And that can be hard. Now, as far as my training is concerned with running, I got an Apple Watch. Yay! I've never had one of these. I know so many people that have them, and they have talked about how great they are and everything. I like it basically for my workouts more than anything else. And it tracks your steps and your activity level and all this. So, and the biggest thing for me is my heart rate. When I was training before, I've had to completely change the way that I've been training, because before, whenever I would run, jog, whatever you want to call it, because let's be honest, I haven't been running, I've been jogging. It's not been fast. Although I played sports when I was younger and have, dabbled here and there, I've never trained as an endurance athlete. So this endurance training is totally different than what I've been used to training for my whole life. And with my heart rate, now that I have the Apple Watch and it tracks your heart rate, I was having to change how I was training and breathing. I was breathing through my mouth. So whenever I was running, I wasn't breathing through my nose, I was breathing through my mouth. And your mouth is not a very good filtration system. And apparently breathing through your nose actually lowers your heart rate. And I've been learning more about this whole running stuff from all the books I've been reading. And that was one of the things that I did learn. So I had to retrain my breathing, and I got my watch and it's telling me, my heart rate. And what I realized when it started tracking my heart rate was I'm overdoing it. I've got to slow down, I'm overdoing it. And my husband does his training on iFit on the treadmill that he has. And that's one thing that he was telling me that his instructor was talking about is keeping your heart rate 75 to 77% of maximum capacity, VO2, whatever you want to call it. So when I did all the calculations, I need to be around 135 to 140. Well, when I first went out with my watch and it was tracking my heart rate and I started going, I'm breathing through my mouth and I'm going, and my heart rate's 168 and I'm sitting there going, that seems high. I don't think it's supposed to be that high. And then I came home and did all the calculations and realized, oh, no, that's too high. So before, when I was training, I would just try to go as far as I could. Now I'm doing a lot more intervals and I'm tracking my heart rate. I'm looking at, okay, I don't let it get over 150. Whenever it gets to 150, then I slow down to a walk. And then when it gets back down to about 110, 115, I speed back up to a slow jog, and I just go based on those intervals. That is what's working for now. I'm sure I will learn more. And if you have any suggestions as far as training, endurance-wise, this is all new to me. Please help me out. I have a 4-mile race coming up on July 4th, and I'm not worried about the distance because now on average, when I go on my route, I'm going 4 miles. And I've been going like 6 times a week, 5-6 times a week. So I'm not worried about the distance. But again, the endurance of being able to jog the whole way, that is my goal. I want to push my body without completely overtraining and getting hurt. So that is what I'm focusing on. I'm listening to my body. And I love, with this watch, I've heard for years, 10,000 steps, 10,000 steps. That's not a problem when you're going on a 4-mile route. I will say that. But usually I hit about 8,000 steps whenever I do that, and then I'm on my feet a good bit the rest of the day. I think yesterday it was over 12,000 steps, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I did start physical therapy last week, and the physical therapist, she's going over my neck and my shoulder, and she found some really nasty knots. And she found one right here where my neck meets my shoulder. And the technique that she uses, she was digging into a hole. And she's warning me, she was like, this is gonna be painful, breathe. And she started pushing in, and I swear, I was holding on, and I came so close to letting out like this big sob because the pain was just more intense than I thought it was gonna be. And then she let go, and then the rest of the spots that she did, because she did 5 or 6 more spots, none of them hurt as bad as the one that was up here. So she thinks that that's where I'm holding most of the tension in my body. Shocker. But going back to that food anxiety really quick, I will say I lost the food anxiety that night when I went to bed, and I was having the heart palpitations and going, this isn't worth it, this isn't worth it. I felt better about it the next day. Just, this is what I have to do in order to feel better. And I have to accept that, because my main goal is to feel as good as I possibly can. And the last girls' night that I went out, I had a glass of red wine, French fries, and green beans, and I had no problems whatsoever. So it could have been the sugar that kind of sent me over the edge. But the physical therapist, when I was telling her about this, when I went to go see her, She said that the tannins in red wine can actually affect women more than men, and she said she started having the same problems when she was around 45. And of course, everybody's different. Some are gonna have more problems than others. And then when I was talking to my brother about it, that's when he said, well, usually whenever I have sugar and alcohol, that's when it happens to me. And I said, yeah, I think that's exactly what happened with me this last time, whereas the time before, I didn't have any sugar and I didn't have any problems. So basically what I'm figuring at this point is pick your poison. Is it gonna be sugar or is it gonna be alcohol? So I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my mind. But that's it for this week. So 5 weeks in, I'm almost halfway through, and I'll see you next week.